Yes,
ukiangalia hii maneno ya affordable housing, it is the worst fraud against the people of Kenya. And it's good today I tell the country, and those are things he was telling me to go to TV to defend. I told him I will not. Mimi pia nikichwa ngumu.
Onyonka, were you comfortable sitting besides the man you had impeached from office of a gross violation of the Constitution?
Oh, Gachagua?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you supported that affordable housing that he made?
No. I voted against Gachagua because of the facts that I had.
Did you support the assessment he made of the affordable housing?
Absolutely, it's a scam.
You support him?
It's a scam.
It's a scam.
Why do you think nobody's buying 6,000 houses which have been done?
And would it be then prudent that you also ask him what he said on the 19th of May 2023 when he embarked on a countrywide campaign to popularize the same?
Yes.
He said the real thing in this housing program is that it will create jobs for young Kenyans. 1.6 million is the number he gave.
Yes.
I ask you all Kenyans to find it important and necessary. This is not a tax, but it's a saving. And therefore, let's support President William Ruto's KK affordable housing program. The debate is going on. He said, when we ask the people to contribute some little money towards the fund, to see Lia Sana.
He has also pronounced himself and said, when they started with that narrative and they were planning to move on, things reach way halfway and they become a scam. The titles for the land doesn't exist. The people building those houses are known. The suppliers of the materials are known. The amount of money those houses are costing shouldn't be. He said those things. And so I am, you see, Ayub, there's this narrative that is trying to be peddled out there that, you know, the truth is, there are certain things when you are in government, like these two gentlemen here, they will support anything government is doing so long as they are in government. At some point, when they realize that what they are talking about that government is done wrong, that is not there, then they feel uncomfortable. Once they flip out of government on the other side, they then begin to say, oh my God, we do not see all this. It happens with all regimes.
So moral authority question here comes up.
The point I'm making is this. Give me one single Kenyan who's in office today, who's an angel. Give me one.
So that includes the team that you were with yesterday?
Absolutely.
And why are you there then?
No, because they are Kenyans. They are Kenyans. Where do you want me to go and look for people from where? From Tanzania?
Have you said there's a transformative type?
My point is that is the call that the Gen Zs are going to make. In fact, let me just say this. Honorable Harvey, how I would wish in these coming elections, Gen Z will chase all of us home and we start afresh.
Okay.
They start afresh without us.
Honorable Ruto, yes.
Value chain process can affect the prices of commodities. And we have seen it affecting the prices of what you are mentioning, the potatoes, the sukuma wiki, or the market commodities we get for household on a day-to-day basis. But at the same time, Ayub, we have to appreciate the fact that Central Bank of Kenya has data which the governor or the officials there are not telling Kenyans. And some of this data is very impressive as far as the economic performance of our country is concerned. One of them is the fiscal deficit has reduced from 8% to 4.3%. The current account deficit declined from 5.5% to 3%. That is an indicator that there is a prudent management of our fiscal deficit to some extent. And this data is available from the central bank. Of course, the 91-day treasury bill rate has gone down, Ayub, to a single digit, and that's a fact. The reserves have increased from $6 billion to $10 billion. These are informational data which showing that the performance of our economy is in the right trajectory. To get this right, a lot of difficult decisions are to be made. When my brother here talks about the local or domestic liabilities and international liabilities, we witness this government paying 340 or 320 billion Kenyan shilling for the Eurobond. We are the brink of devoting that, and you know what it means if the government devoted paying this huge liability. So difficult decisions are being made, so that we can keep the economy of the Republic of Kenya in the right trajectory.
And who are the original sinners of why our economy is here?
All of us, we are sinners. All Kenyans are sinners. We are the ones who put the previous government into administration. We are the ones who, into power. We are the ones who have put this into power. The previous administration signed a loan of huge amount of money, payable after 10 years. It is now payable. It is all of us. And all of us Kenyans. We are in this together. And we have to make hard decisions as Kenyans. That we have to get out of this all together.
Okay.
And difficult decisions have to be made.
And there's one fundamental constitutional ingrain in our dispensation.
Yes.
Which is the immense powers that Katiba gives you, parliamentarians,
yes,
Honorable Ruku and the others.
Yes.
And Parliament is largely as a guardrail in our dispensation.
Yes.
How did this all happen? When borrowing happens, when debt ceiling, scaling up happens, when all these developments happen, you parliamentarians cozy up to the occupant at State House than prioritizing
yes,
what the Kenyan people need. For example, you voted for the Finance Bill 2024, right?
Correct.
Why did you vote? What the people said was punitive?
Of course, a finance bill was made to look like it's a very bad document, but according to me, up to now, I believe in it because I was voting for the onions not to be imported from Uganda.
You're cherry picking.
Why should we import onion from Uganda, from Tanzania, when we have enough onions production in our country? Why should we import eggs from Uganda when we have enough production of eggs?
Who was doing the importation?
So, businessmen.
Who are they?
Of course, cartels.
Most of them are parliamentarians.
That's a big statement. There's a lot of ambiguity around the word cartel.
You have asked me a question, Ayub.
And I ask you the question. I ask you the question because the people of Kenya, and Mbeere North to be specific,
yes,
have given you immense powers.
Yes.
To the extent of even impeaching a sitting president.
Yes.
Yet when an important matter comes before the House for deliberation and examination, critical thinking and observation, members of Parliament, you included, I'm sorry to say,
yes,
will be singing from the same hymn sheet as the person at State House than prioritizing what the Kenyan people said. A majority of the people who appeared before the National Assembly's Finance and National Planning Committee said no to the contents of the bill in 2024. Yet you went ahead and passed it in a huff, rushed to State House the following day, and when the President withdrew the bill, you guys were clapping and you were up in the air.
Thank you.
Ayub,
they looked like fat monkeys.
Many decisions which have been made by this administration, we have okayed most of those decisions as Parliament. And some of the achievements which we are seeing, including KPLC making profit, including this administration employing 76,000 teachers, is out of the policy decisions which you have made in the floor of the National Assembly. No. I'll give you an example. I'll give you because this is my motion. I tabled a motion on the floor of the House on junior secondary education, on coming up with a legal framework and funding framework, and how we are going to ensure the schools in the Republic of Kenya are resourced through teachers, through funding. How can you sit here and tell me that you are not contributing to achievements which have been made by this administration? How can you tell me that the Kenya Power is not making profit out of the motion which we discussed on the floor of the House as far as cutting down the prices You are distracting me. Cutting down the prices of the cost of power by Kenya Power through the Independent Power Purchase Agreement. How do you sit here and say that we are not repairing, we are not coming up with an innovative solution on the floor of the House as far as power is concerned, as far as education is concerned, as far as agriculture is concerned? It's not only the responsibility of the government to do what it is doing. It's also a responsibility of me as a member of Parliament and him also as a member of Parliament, because he is a member of Parliament, but sitting in the Senate, I am sitting in the National Assembly.
Protect me. Nothing will happen.
Ruku, the wind has blown on your ass, now it's post. So let's maintain civility and order.
I have been so scared.
I want to go down in history as the person who, after the end of the tenure of Dr. William Samoei Ruto, will not evaluate him after. We are evaluating now. Because we have this demagoguery of cockatoos whose mainstay is subterfuge. Lies and lies and lies and lies and lies. That must come to an end. You are useful as a leader if you point out the problems. Because, look, and James Orengo once told me this. When he was appointed minister by Emilio Mwai Kibaki, Kibaki used to tell him, look, James, I know the good news. I'm not interested in it. Tell me the bad news. That's what I need to deal with it.
Yes.
These chaps reduced to stupidity in parliament. The president tells them, you are fools. They clap and smile like monkeys. You don't need these characters here. The more reason why I emphasize the Gen Z, Tribe 3, must take over now. Richard Onyonka, permit me just to put some little wind on your side. It won't be enormous. I don't fault the choice of Fred Matiang'i. But there is that issue of him having been found to have violated the Constitution. Is therefore unsuitable to hold office. Look, I've on an earlier day said, if we must sup with the devil, I will still use a 10-foot pole. In the unlikely event that Dr. Fred Matiang'i has to be the flag bearer, we'll need to look for a way of dealing with this issue. And I'm speaking civilly, because if Dr. Matiang'i was to call me and say, Monsieur le Président, I want you to be my deputy president, I don't think I'll want to refuse, but we'll need to deal with that issue.
True.
But even as you deal with that issue, consider if it's unavailable for office, go to, I don't know whether it's Mugirango or Nyamira. Please talk to David Kinani Maraga.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because he needs to make this decision pretty fast.
Sure.
Otherwise, I will take over, and I don't want to be accused of taking over when they are much more elderly, wise, and informed people who can do this thing.